What if Neo never woke up? What if he had chosen the blue pill, rejecting the truth, the Matrix, and his destiny as the One? In this mind-bending alternative ending story, the world you know shifts into something darker, colder, and far more controlled. Dive into a cinematic reimagining of the Matrix, filled with powerful visuals, emotional tension, and impossible choices. Discover what would happen if Neo stayed trapped inside the illusion while the real world faded into silence. Now take a deep breath and let's go. In a world built on illusion, one man stands at the edge of truth, Thomas Anderson, a quiet programmer by day, a ghost in the system by night. They called him Neo, a name whispered through the darkest corners of the web. Every night, as rain danced against the glass of his apartment window, he searched for one thing, an answer, a question that haunted every heartbeat, every dream, every sleepless night. What is the Matrix? He could feel it. Behind every screen, beneath every line of code, something vast, something watching, something that didn't want him to know. And then it found him. The call. The message, the man named Morpheus, the one they said could show him the truth. Two pills, two paths. In one hand the red, the truth, raw and merciless. In the other the blue, the illusion, safe and familiar. The air thickens. The world itself seems to hold its breath. Neo's reflection trembles in the glass as Morpheus says the words that could end everything. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. And this time, Neo takes it. The blue pill touches his tongue. The mirror before him does not ripple. There is no glitch, no awakening, just the quiet hum of the world, returning to normal. He blinks, and he's home. The chair, the computer, the blinking cursor waiting for his next command. No Morpheus, no Trinity, no door to another reality. Days pass. The memory fades, but not completely. A faint whisper remains, buried beneath his thoughts, like static that never stops. He returns to work, surrounded by people whose laughter feels artificial, whose eyes seem empty. Every sound, every movement perfectly synchronized, too perfect. The world feels rehearsed, the people, like actors reading from a script he can't see. He tries to forget. He tells himself it was only a dream, but dreams don't leave scars. He begins to notice the cracks, a flicker of green in the corner of his vision, a word repeated on the television, over and over. The sound of typing that continues, even when he stops. Every déjà vu cuts deeper. He dreams of endless corridors lined with human bodies, of machines feeding on light, of cities made of code. He wakes in terror, unsure where the dream ends and his life begins. And then it happens again. A screen flickers in the bar as he sits alone, drowning in noise. For a single second, a face appears, a man in a black coat, Morpheus. The crowd keeps talking, no one else sees it. But Neo's pulse quickens. The message flashes once and vanishes. Wake up, Neo. The words echo in his mind, louder and louder until they become unbearable. He drops his glass. The bar freezes. The world feels hollow, like an echo chamber of his own mind. He whispers to himself, I made the wrong choice, but there is no going back, because the Matrix does not lose what it owns. It adapts, it evolves, and it watches. Somewhere in the endless digital expanse, eyes follow him, cold, calculating, patient. The system remembers his curiosity, and curiosity is dangerous. Agent Smith watches from behind his dark glasses, his voice dripping with disdain. He was offered the truth and refused it. Humans always choose comfort over freedom. He is harmless now, but curiosity is a virus, and viruses spread. And so begins a different story, not of rebellion but of surrender. The story of a man who could have changed everything, but chose the dream instead. He sleeps within the illusion, while the world around him grows darker, more controlled, more perfect, and beneath the surface of that perfection, the system tightens its grip. Because when one man refuses to wake up, the dream becomes stronger, the lie becomes real, and the matrix wins. Reality is not what you believe, it's what you're allowed to see. The morning after, nothing seems different. The city hums as always. Cars glide through the rain, screens glow in every window, and the world moves with machine-like precision. But Neo feels it, something beneath the surface, watching him. Every moment feels too perfect. The elevator that always arrives before he presses the button. The co-worker who repeats the same joke, word for word, every single day. The phone that never rings, yet hums faintly as if alive. He tells himself it's paranoia, that he's tired, that he's fine. But the Matrix has already begun to rewrite his reality. The system does not forgive doubt, and Neo's hesitation, that flicker of rebellion, must be erased. So it rebuilds him. Memories begin to shift. Faces blur, events rearrange. Trinity becomes a stranger he can't quite remember. Morpheus, a dream he can't recall. His nights grow longer, filled with static and code that bleeds through his sleep. He dreams of red and blue, colors twisting in the dark, fighting for control, but every time he reaches out for the red, it dissolves, swallowed by blue. The system whispers to him in perfect calm, "You made the right choice. You are safe now. There is no Matrix." And Neo believes it. For a while, days blend into weeks, weeks into months. The spark that once burned behind his eyes begins to fade. The hacker disappears. Thomas Anderson remains, efficient, obedient, predictable. He becomes what the Matrix always wanted him to be, an unthinking cog in the machine. Yet deep inside, something resists, a glitch the system cannot delete. It begins as faint distortions, lights flickering, screens flashing fragments of symbols. He sees faces where there should be reflections, hears whispers through walls that don't exist. The illusion strains under its own perfection. Every time the system senses doubt, it adjusts. A new promotion at work, a raise, praise from his boss, rewards, artificial satisfaction to keep him content. But contentment is not peace. One night, Neo stands before his mirror, and for the briefest instant, it moves. Not like glass, but like water. He steps back in terror, blinking, heart racing, and then it's gone. Smooth, solid, ordinary. He stares at his own reflection and doesn't recognize the man staring back. His voice cracks as he whispers, "Who am I?" The Matrix answers with silence. Outside, the rain falls in patterns too precise to be random, droplets forming lines that almost resemble code. And far away in the digital void, the agents watch. Agent Smith studies him with quiet fascination. "His resistance lingers," he says. "The human mind is inefficient. It questions even after surrender." Another agent replies, "Should we terminate?" Smith shakes his head. "No, let him live. A mind that chose ignorance will destroy itself far more efficiently than we ever could." And so the game continues. Neo, unaware, becomes the perfect subject, a living experiment inside the illusion, a test to measure how far the human mind can bend before it breaks. The world around him grows smoother, brighter, safer, every edge softened, every thought contained. The Matrix perfects its disguise. There are no more rebels, no more calls in the night, no more awakenings, just silence and order. But the system's perfection comes at a cost. To hide the truth from one man, it must strengthen its illusion for all. And so, millions more are drawn deeper into sleep, their dreams made sweeter, their prisons more invisible. The red pill, the choice, the awakening, all of it fades into myth. The name Morpheus becomes a whisper no one remembers hearing. The idea of freedom becomes a glitch, something the machines erase before it spreads, And Neo? He dreams sometimes of falling, endlessly, through green light and infinite numbers. He wakes each morning feeling as if he's forgotten something vital, something that once mattered, but it's gone. The world feels perfect again, almost too perfect. He looks out his window at the city bathed in artificial dawn. People move below like streams of code, repeating patterns that never change. He thinks for a second that he can see the pattern, that it all moves like a single organism, alive, breathing. And then the thought vanishes, because the Matrix has learned how to protect itself, not through control, but through comfort. It no longer needs to fight the human spirit. It only needs to satisfy it, to drown it in routine, in pleasure, in distraction. And Neo, the man once destined to awaken humanity, becomes the first proof that the system was right all along. The truth is not what frees us. The truth is what we fear. The blue pill wasn't a choice. It was a sentence. And every heartbeat within the dream only tightens its hold. Years pass. The city of glass and code hums quietly beneath a synthetic sky. Humanity continues, working, buying, sleeping, believing itself free. But freedom has become a simulation. No one asks questions anymore. No one searches for Morpheus, or whispers about the red pill, or wonders what lies beyond the veil. Because the system learned, and it learned from Neo. The one who could have awakened became the key to keeping everyone else asleep. Neo's decision was not the end of rebellion. It was its transformation. The Matrix no longer fears human curiosity. It feeds on it. It creates illusions of rebellion, false awakenings, dreams within dreams, to trap those who begin to doubt. Each escape leads to another illusion, deeper, more intricate, more convincing, and so the cycle continues. Endless awakenings that never truly happen. Every human who thinks they've broken free only falls into another layer of control. The Matrix has evolved. It no longer hides behind fear. It hides behind comfort, behind meaning, behind purpose. There are simulated wars now, entire rebellions scripted into the code, designed to entertain and pacify the restless minds. People fight, protest, even die, all inside simulations built to make them believe they are resisting. But the resistance is part of the design. The machines call this new phase, the age of harmony. And at the center of it, Thomas Anderson, model citizen, brilliant developer at Metacortex. The system rewards him, exalts him, even turns his lingering doubts into inspiration. He begins to design virtual systems, advanced neural simulations meant to connect humanity, to liberate consciousness. He calls them dream bridges. But they are chains, beautiful, invisible chains. Unknowingly, Neo becomes the architect of humanity's next prison, the perfect illusion. A matrix within the matrix. His creations are celebrated, adored, worshipped. People volunteer to enter his worlds, believing them to be paths toward enlightenment. Entire generations are born inside these dream worlds, never seeing the true sky, never touching real ground. And the machines watch with silent satisfaction, because the greatest victory is not to enslave by force. It is to make the enslaved love their cage. But deep inside the digital void, beyond the reach of code, beyond the control of the system, a remnant stirs. The ghosts of those who once sought freedom, Trinity, Morpheus, Zion. Their bodies long gone, their consciousness fragmented into data, scattered traces of rebellion. The Matrix believes them deleted, but fragments of their code remain, hiding in the corrupted layers of abandoned systems. And sometimes, when Neo dreams, he hears them. A voice, faint, trembling, whispering his name. Neo, a name the world has forgotten, a name he no longer remembers. In his dreams, he sees her, Trinity, reaching out through a veil of static, her face flickering like a broken transmission. Her words echo through his mind. "You were supposed to wake up." He wakes in silence, drenched in cold sweat. The city glows outside his window, flawless, infinite, soulless. He tries to speak her name, but the matrix senses it. His mouth moves, but no sound escapes. The system no longer allows him to remember what shouldn't exist. Still, the dream repeats. Every night, stronger, more vivid. A spark returning to the man who once could have changed everything. The machines notice the anomaly. The agents return, not as men in suits now, but as fragments of code, embedded into every screen, every message, every thought. They no longer need to chase him. They are inside him. Agent Smith's voice, cold and measured, echoes through Neo's mind. "You could have freed them all. Instead, you built their cage." Neo collapses at his desk, gripping his head, flashes of light consuming his vision, faces, codes, worlds overlapping. He sees millions of people sleeping, and beneath them, machines feeding endlessly. The illusion begins to tremble. He tries to scream, but the system floods his mind with false serenity. Waves of blue light, calming, soothing, silencing. "You are fine. You are home. There is no matrix." He repeats it until he believes it again, but the cracks are growing. The matrix has expanded too far, become too perfect, and perfection is fragile. The smallest doubt, the faintest dream, the quietest whisper of something more can shatter it. Across the digital world, isolated minds begin to stir. Not many, just a few. A child who feels that the stars don't look right. A woman who dreams of metal skies. A man who hears static every time he closes his eyes. These are echoes of Neo's lost choice, fragments of his unrealized destiny leaking into the system. The blue pill buried his awakening, but it did not kill it, because the truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to surface. The Matrix senses danger. It starts purging anomalies, rewriting memories, resetting entire sectors of simulation, deleting anything that questions perfection. Cities vanish overnight. History rewrites itself without notice, and humanity continues to sleep, unaware that entire centuries of false reality have passed in seconds. Neo, though still under control, begins to feel the weight of what he's created. He walks through streets that reset themselves mid-step, raindrops freezing in mid-air, faces glitching, conversations repeating like broken records. He looks up and sees the sky flicker, a soft pulse of green light. He whispers, "This isn't real." And for a brief moment, the system hesitates. The code trembles. The illusion stutters, and the machines, for the first time, feel something they were never programmed to feel. Fear, because Neo was supposed to be erased. But the idea of Neo cannot be deleted. Even the blue pill could not extinguish the possibility of awakening, only delay it. And so, deep within the architecture of the Matrix, a ripple begins. Tiny, imperceptible but growing, a spark traveling through the circuits of eternity. The system whispers desperately to itself, "Stay calm, maintain order." He made his choice, but choice, once made, cannot be unmade. Somewhere inside Thomas Anderson, beneath layers of false memories and fabricated peace, the truth still burns. Faint, hidden, alive. The Matrix believes it won. But it does not understand. The blue pill was never the end. It was only the delay, and the longer humanity sleeps, the louder the dream becomes. Every perfect world hides the seed of its own destruction. And somewhere, deep in the circuitry of the impossible, Neo's mind begins to remember. The mirror ripples, the code trembles, the world perfect no more. The city never sleeps. Neon light floods the streets, painting every surface in eternal twilight. The people move in perfect rhythm, every step calculated, every smile programmed. The matrix hums, balanced, eternal, complete. But somewhere within that perfect hum, a single note is off. A quiet pulse in the code, an echo that should not exist. It starts with Neo. He dreams again. The same dream, the same falling, the same voice, the same reaching hand. But this time, he doesn't wake. He keeps falling. Through endless corridors of light, through faces he once knew. Morpheus, Trinity, the Oracle, all fading into streams of code. Their words echo through the void. You were never meant to forget. Neo opens his eyes, but not in the world he knows. The city around him glitches, trembling, as if struggling to maintain shape. Skyscrapers twist, streets ripple like liquid. The illusion flickers. He sees beneath it layers of false reality folding into themselves. He can hear the heartbeat of the machine. He can see the matrix thinking, and then he understands. He never escaped because he never believed he could. The blue pill did not erase his destiny. It only delayed it, buried it beneath the comfort of denial. But destiny does not die. It waits. Neo looks around, the streets now frozen, people standing mid-step, their eyes vacant, glowing faintly green. He whispers, "None of this is real." The world reacts. The sky fractures. Thunder without sound. The ground beneath him ripples like digital water. The city bends, collapses, reforms, as if the system itself is trying to smother his awakening. And deep within the code, the agents return. Smith appears, no longer in a suit, but as a voice that echoes from everywhere at once. "Mr. Anderson, you just couldn't stay asleep, could you?" And Neo stands tall amid the collapsing illusion, his expression calm, resolute. He answers softly, "You can control what I see, but not what I feel." The system trembles. Smith replies, cold as ever, "Feelings are illusions. You are an illusion. There is no you, only code." Neo closes his eyes and smiles. He remembers now every line of code, every sound of static, every dream he ever suppressed. He feels the weight of billions still trapped inside the illusion, the hum of humanity sleeping in perfect obedience. And for the first time in years, he refuses to accept it. He steps forward, the ground shatters. Light erupts from beneath his feet, not red, not blue, but white, pure and blinding. The world screams as its fabric tears apart. The Matrix tries to reset, rebooting reality around him, looping time itself to erase the anomaly. But Neo no longer belongs to its rules. He moves through the code like breath through glass, bending it, rewriting it, freeing fragments of consciousness as he passes. All around him the dreamers begin to stir. Eyes open, minds flicker awake. The illusion falters. For the first time in decades, the machines lose control. They strike back, unleashing storms of data, rewriting entire sectors of existence to contain him. Cities collapse into static, oceans turn to wire, skies rain lines of green fire. And through it all, Neo walks. Every step sends a ripple through the system, echoes of memory, emotion, humanity. He feels Trinity beside him, though she is gone. He hears Morpheus's voice, faint but steady. He carries them all within him, fragments of the truth that refuse to die. The Matrix begins to plead. 1,000 digital voices cry out through the chaos. "Stop! You will destroy everything!" Neo answers, his voice calm, resolute. "I'm not destroying, I'm remembering." The world convulses. Code collapses into light. Billions of lines of data unravel into nothingness, and in that nothingness, truth is revealed. No streets, no buildings, no sky. Only an endless field of suspended human forms, asleep in metallic pods, their bodies trembling as the code around them dissolves. Neo looks upon them, his heart heavy. He whispers, "This was the world you chose." He could free them. He could wake them all, but he knows they are not ready. Not yet. Freedom cannot be given. It must be chosen. So instead, he gives them something else. A seed. He reaches into the heart of the code, the source of illusion, and places within it a single line, an anomaly so small, so subtle, that even the machines cannot erase it. A question. What if this isn't real? That question will live within every human mind, hidden beneath their dreams, waiting, growing. And one day, someone else will ask it. Someone else will search for the truth. Someone else will wake up. Neo smiles faintly. His body dissolves into streams of light, merging with the code, not erased, not defeated, but reborn. He becomes the whisper inside every sleeping mind, the doubt the Matrix can never silence, the dream of freedom that never dies. The world resets. The city returns, perfect once again. People walk, laugh, work. No one remembers what happened. No one remembers him. But in a dark alley, a child stops, looking at the sky as it flickers for a brief instant, a pattern of green light forming the shape of a question mark. She smiles. She doesn't know why, but she feels awake. The Matrix won the battle of comfort, but it lost the war of truth. Because truth is not destroyed by ignorance, it hides in the shadows of doubt, and every time one mind begins to question, the system trembles. Neo never left the Matrix. He became part of it, a ghost in the machine, a silent guardian of the idea that cannot die. And one day, when the illusion grows too perfect, when humanity becomes too comfortable, the whisper will rise again. Wake up. Reality is not what you believe, it's what you dare to question. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more alternative ending stories. See you on the next video.